Me? Today on Fresno State Focus, we take a look at how students are managing their mental health and the solutions the campus offers.
Also, we turn our attention to a student who turned her passion into a business.
Plus, how one local artist is able to take people under the sea with her latest exhibit. Fresno State Focus starts now. Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Cynthia Carranza.
And I'm Al Scott. We are beginning the newscast with the help and empowerment. And it all starts with our mental health. Midterm exams are around the corner, and for many students, the pressure is on. Stress can be a really big factor for mental health issues. How are students faring with all of the responsibilities they're dealing with? Emily Crabtree talked with students and faculty about the importance of taking care of their mental health and places to reach out to on campus.
College can be a very difficult time for a student. Managing school, maybe a job, and a social life, it begs the question, how is your mental health?
Right now, I would say it's in between.
Daniela De Real is a third-year recreational therapy major. She says that finding a good work-life balance can be hard.
Because it's like a lot. Homework, then you have to worry about your community service. And then since I'm part of a multicultural sorority, and work, so trying to balance all those things has kind of taken a toll on me.
When students have such an impacted schedule, there's a potential that their schoolwork can start to suffer.
A mentally healthy student is a better student. So we have to make sure that we're holistically helping people be ready to learn. So mental health is absolutely a key part of being successful academically.
Another problem students face is the stigma regarding mental health, and that's why they don't want to reach out for help.
It just takes that extra courage and step to use those resources, and sometimes I struggle with that.
But Myrna Pacheco with the Student Health and Counseling Center says that students have no reason to be afraid of getting help.
We don't want you to struggle in silence. We want you to get help, and especially after COVID, everybody is struggling with something, even if it's just an adjustment, anxiety that COVID caused. Everyone around you has something going on. Coming to counseling or coming to a group will certainly show you that there's nothing wrong with you because other people are struggling just like you are.
The Student Health and Counseling Center is available around the clock and comes at no cost to students. Reporting at Fresno State, Emily Crabtree, Fresno State Focus.
If you feel you're in a crisis, you can talk with a crisis counselor at the Student Health Center or dial 988.
Juggling classes, work, clubs, sports, and family, it is understandable to experience heightened stress levels. And it's important to know that you're not alone.
It is very stressful.
AgCom Major James Cepeda has a lot on his plate. He works as a reporter for the Collegian and sells lettuce seed to farmers for a living. He says he stays on top of his responsibilities through meditation in nature. Cepeda says de-stressing can look different for everybody.
That, and then I'll work out. I'll go for a run if I need to. Find something that you enjoy doing by yourself, because that's ultimately, it's you against the world. So you need to find something that you enjoy doing, that you find relieves your stress, whether that's like writing, coloring, singing, playing a musical instrument, working out. Find a niche that you have that, calms you down.
The Student Health Center offers resources to help students with their overall well-being and mental health. Located near the dorms, the center offers services such as Let's Talk and after-hours therapy. If it's academics you're struggling with, the Student Learning Center offers tutoring. Natural science major Kailani Thangdamni sticks to the basics, relying on friendships when she is overwhelmed.
Having friends, even just hanging out with them can help you, like I said, take your mind off things, and they can also act as a pillar of support.
We get to hear some words of encouragement from a chemistry tutor here on Fresno State campus. Let's take a listen what he has to say to those students who may have quite the heavy load this semester.
I'm pushing it. I know it feels like it's the end of the world right now and it's an unachievable event, But keep in mind, you're working for yourself for a degree. You're doing great by just even pursuing this degree to begin with. So keep on pushing.
Fresno State has people like Hidalgo to help you so that you don't have to struggle as a student, not mentally, not academically. These resources can keep in check or prevent a mental health crisis. They are there to help you get the grades that you desire and one day the successful career that you dream of. While you are taking advantage of these resources on campus, there are things you can be doing from your home that don't cost any extra time. I'm here with Leo Campos, the founder of Fueled by Leo, dietitian. She graduated from Fresno State with a degree in food science. Can you tell us why it's so important for us college students to take care of what we're eating?
Thank you so much for having me. Absolutely, we don't think about nutrition, right, when we are college students, but it should be a priority as well. So making sure that you're having breakfast or a snack, balancing those meals, right, having some protein, your fruits and vegetables, and your carbohydrates that can give you the energy that you need to stay active and academically successful too.
Yeah, so I'm hearing to be well-rounded in what you're eating, a little bit of everything, carbs, protein. What about coffee? We love coffee. It's a very popular thing for college campuses.
Absolutely, and coffee is delicious, right? But making sure that you're not replacing your meals with coffee, and you're also staying with more just your plain coffee, maybe a little bit of milk or a latte without adding that extra sugar, right? That can also fill you up and not have that room for your balanced meals.
Okay, and I like that you say that. Sometimes we're in a rush and we may not have a lot of time. I'm guilty of it too. I'm like, just a coffee, I'll wait till I have time to really sit down and eat a meal. But it's good to know that that's probably not the best way to go about it. Any other common mistakes that you see?
Yeah, definitely the skipping the meals, right, is the main one. Or just going hours without anything to eat, which will affect your energy levels too. But it can also affect your mental health and potentially your sleep. So making sure that you're just trying to have your snacks and your balanced meals.
Well, thank you so much, Leo, for making the time and talking with us. We really appreciate it. And you're making a difference in people's lives by helping them to be healthier. So we really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Back to you, Al.
Fresno State's solar PV installation project is nearing the Peters building, has been under construction since the beginning of the fall semester. As of today, the P6 parking lot is fully open. The P5 parking lot is partially open with heavy construction going on. Students with a green parking pass can still park at the State Mart Center's north lot. The solar project will provide parking for over 1,500 cars and generate electricity to reduce Fresno State's use of the electrical grid. Both lots will be fully functional and operational by the spring 2024 semester. Today, the Fresno State Viniculture and Enology Department is offering free wine tasting down the street at the Gibson Farm Market. The process starts at the Winery Labs. It's where students learn to perfect winemaking. They grow the grapes and bottle the wine themselves.
We just do free wine tasting just to get people, who barely turned 21, right, to get them interested in maybe like having that palate towards wine.
If you cannot make it this week, there is no need for FOMO. That's fear of missing out. Because this week, it is offered this week and every week. Free wine tasting is offered every Friday and Saturday of this month from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. Artist on campus who is turning her designs into fashion.
And could we see record temperatures this week? We'll also have your Fresno State Focus weather after the break.
I got the bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head. Up in my head. I got that bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to say. I got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay.
I got that bulldog spirit.
Down in my toes, down in my toes, down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit.
Down in my toes, hey!
Down in my toes to stay. I got that bulldog spirit. Up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit. All over me to stay. I got that bulldog spirit.
Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that bulldog spirit.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. From Sweeney to Hill, Carr to Tedford, those iconic lights and that old checkerboard. Inside Bulldog Stadium, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
Welcome back. I'm Emily Crabtree with your focus on weather. As you can see behind me, this was from the Peace Garden earlier this afternoon. There is not a cloud in the sky, and that is reflective on our radar. As you can see, going across from our coast down line over across to the east, there is not really that much cloud coverage going on, and that's reflective in our western satellite as well. Not very many clouds coming our way today, and so that kind of helped out with the heat that we're going to be seeing this weekend. Well, I'm going the wrong direction. I'm so sorry. We had some highs today that are kind of abnormal for what we have been seeing. We had a trend going on where it was between the 70s and the 80s. And right now we've got 90s in Madera, we've got 90 in Mendota, 89 in Hanford, 80 in Shaver Lake, 85 in Mariposa. So there's a lot of temperatures rising going on, and we're going to continue to see that through the weekend. But tomorrow's lows, we've got 63 in Fresno, 59 in Los Banos, 58 in Mariposa, 61 in Merced. Now, as you can see, our air quality is getting a little bit worse than it was earlier on in the week. We've got moderate to, unhealthy in some areas, and that's kind of rough for people who have asthma or anything like that. So be sure to be careful out there. Now, we do have an extended outlook, and as you can see on our extended outlook, we've got 90s coming up this weekend, and that's going to be a little bit rough considering we were seeing 70s and we're trending downward. So keep your sunscreen on and have a great weekend. For now, I'll send it back to Al and Cynthia.
The President's Lecture Series continues today.
Today's guest speaker is at the Fresno State Library with our very own Marco Rosas.
Thanks, Al. And yes, behind us, the opening of the MK Gandhi Center here in the third floor of the Fresno State Library is happening. And I'm joined by the esteemed guest speaker of the President's Lecture Series, Malika Chopra. Malika, how are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you, Malika. Malika, can you tell me a little bit about your lecture and what you're going to talk about today?
So I'm here for the launch of the MK Gandhi Center. As you can see, they are launching that now. I'll be talking about intention and how do we live with intention and take that to action. We're living in a time where we need people who are holding peace and holding space for peace, and it does begin with intention.
Yeah, and Malika, what are some ways that students here at Fresno State, I know your daughter is a college student, what are ways that college students in general can practice intentionality a little bit more?
College is a crazy time, a busy time, and it's actually a time where you can gather together, learn about other people, other cultures, other ways of thinking, and really form ideas. And so I think for college students, conversation is really important. And then also thinking about how you can serve. That's one of the fundamental questions that we ask in our tradition is how can I serve? How can I serve myself? How can I serve my community? And how can I serve the world? And college, especially places like this, which are also anchoring studies in a peace center, really have the potential to start transforming and changing the world.
Well, Malika, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Malika will be speaking in the RSU after this at 5 p.m. We urge you after the newscast to try to get over there. For now, we're just going to go ahead and listen to these guys, and I'm going to send it right back to you, Cynthia and Al.
Thank you, Marco. This week there was a pizza party with the president. Students lined up to get a slice and interact at the president's booth. The president's booth had a long line down the free speech walkway. ASI President Karen Carrillo was surprised by the impressive turnout.
They were here probably like 5 or 10 minutes before we showed up, and I was like, oh, they know that the pizza's coming.
Creates community amongst us, and they also get to know their ASI president, they get to know their campus presidents as well. So I'm very pleased to do this in partnership with ASI.
Yeah.
Honestly, they've been posting so much on Instagram, so I was kind of curious. And it's kind of pretty cool.
Meeting the presidents was a rewarding experience for everyone. To see the other upcoming president collaboration events, check Instagram at Fresno State ASI.
Art is one of the many creative mediums that have a way of connecting people, whether that be enjoying art, creating art, or buying art, my favorite. Alexis Szymanski spoke with a Fresno artist about how art can connect a community and even help people find a path for the future.
Giselle Polito has always considered herself an artistic person, but it wasn't until recently that she became connected with the Fresno art community.
I started meeting all of these people in the art community that have been like amazing, and I've made so many friends just in this past year in the art community, and it's so cool just seeing like what each other does, and I think it's definitely changed like my life in that way.
Giselle doesn't plan to keep her artistic passions to herself. As she pursues a degree in fine arts, she hopes to teach the future generations the value of creativity.
Giselle's like an actual artist, like no matter what medium she's using, what like problems she might run into, like anything she can visualize in her mind, like she knows how to express it in her art.
In the past 3 years, Giselle has channeled her artistic energy into her small business.
I was in my math class, and I was just sitting in class, and I looked up, and someone was wearing a shirt from Art Hop that I had, and I was like, I made that.
Is supportive of Giselle's small business venture, even when her process gets a little messy, taking up room.
Being past it, and she'll have like her shirts out on the table in the process.
For Giselle, her small business is about more than money. It's about a bond with the community that you can't put a price tag on.
The artistic process is a mess, but the outcome is crazy. It's really nice. It's really fun.
It's just like a big way to connect with people, and I think that's what a small business is to me, like connecting with your community and just showing up and like trying to like do your part in making it like pretty and like putting your stuff out there.
Isn't the only way to connect with your community. The opportunity to form connections is always present. You just have to be willing to take that first step. Reporting from Fresno, Alexis Szymanski, Fresno State Focus.
More of Giselle's artwork and creative process. Check her out on social media at Alyssa_Giselle. One of the most successful businesswomen around is none other than Miss Taylor Swift. And boy, is she killing it. With her once-in-a-lifetime concert Experience, the film came to theaters on October 13th and will be available through November. The 3-hour film takes you through her entire concert and was filmed at her shows in Los Angeles earlier this year. This is a chance for fans who did not get to go to the concert to still have that experience.
It was something good to keep myself at the house. I never went to the Taylor Swift concert, so my roommate had invited me to go, and I just was like, this might be a great experience. I went, I watched it, I thought it was super cool, I thought it was super fun.
Shown at multiple theaters in Fresno, including both Maya and Regal. Both theaters offer a student discount and specialty souvenirs from the showing.
If you commute to campus, tonight marks another Good Evening Commuters event with free food. It's tonight from 6:30 to 8:30 outside the RSU. There will be a variety of food trucks for students to choose from. Food for Bulldog commuters will be a free event. Coordinators say their main goal is for students to feel connected with the Fresno State campus.
So they can definitely expect a good vibe. I think that's the main thing, like to just make them feel comfortable and make them feel part of Fresno State.
The event is coordinated by Off-Campus Student Life Group. This will be the second Good Evening Commuters event of the semester. The next one is planned for November 15th.
Coming up in sports, Fresno football bounce back. Bowl eligible.
But Fresno State football is not the only team bowling. Stay tuned for sports.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. Generations linked forever by traditions that have stood the test of time. Inside our stadiums, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
At Fresno State, being bold means committing to something greater than yourself. It's learning by doing and nurturing leaders to advance our shared future. It's using research to create a better life for those around us and healing those who need us most. These are our stories, because at Fresno State, bold begins here.
Am I good right here? The Bulldogs will have a bye this week as they prepare to host UNLV for homecoming week on September 28th. The Fresno State football team improved to 6-1 on the season with a 37-32 victory over Utah State on Friday. The 6th win of the year means the Dogs are officially bowl eligible. The Bulldogs were led by running back Malik Sherrod, who had 166 total yards and 3 scores. Tight end Trey Watson also caught 5 balls for a career-high 76 yards and a pair of touchdowns against the Aggies. The win came despite missing starting quarterback Mikey Keene, who is questionable to return next week. Earlier this week, I decided to hit up the lanes and catch up with one of the longest-standing traditions on campus.
The Fresno State bowling team has been competing on a national scale for over 5 decades. While the game is definitely fun, there is more than what meets the eye.
It's a lot more than just throwing strikes. You got to make spares, you got to practice your targeting, you got to practice your physical game, mental game, all aspects of the game of bowling that people don't think about.
Head coach Chris Preble bowled for the program in the 80s. He and his staff now shepherd in the next generation of Bulldog bowlers.
And we start opening up their minds as to what the game has to offer and train them in a different way. And they can see the game at a different level than what they've seen before. So that's rewarding in itself.
The program is unique compared to other sports on campus because it's made up of both men and women. Nikki Simano says she enjoys the competitive atmosphere.
Because I love kicking the men's butt. It's the best part, but it makes me want to be better. It gives me that drive that I'm really looking for, and it's a lot of fun.
As with any sport, chemistry is important in order to compete as a team.
There's just a lot of different personalities that are blended together in the bowling team that I think makes it a very fun and good environment to be around.
Fresno State bowling will be here on December 2nd and 3rd as they will host the 50th annual West Coast Collegiate Team Championships.
After winning the national championship in 2011, Fresno State has had some success but has not quite gotten back to the top. This coming season, the Dogs will seek their return to glory, working towards another title.
Over the next 7 months, the club will compete in over a dozen tournaments nationwide. Cross country just finished up with their last meet before the Mountain West Conference running begins. Joining me now is one of the runners for Fresno State, Jimena Ramos. How are you doing, Jimena?
I'm doing good.
You know, most people run for exercise and to stay fit. You choose to do it for sport. What is that like?
It's definitely a journey. Some days I love it, some days I hate it, but when I'm with my teammates, it's the best.
You know, being a student athlete on campus encompasses many different aspects. You're on the road a lot, you're practicing, you're racing, and then you also have to go to class. How are you able to manage all of that?
It's all about adaptability and time management. I mean, I catch myself on my Google Calendar or just like surfing Canva whenever I have an assignment. It's all about communication too. You got to let people know where you're going to be and where you're at.
Awesome. And how do you prepare for a race? Obviously, there's a lot of mental games that can go through your head when preparing for a long race. How do you get ready for that?
It starts the week before. It's all about sleep and what you're doing to prioritize your time, especially like the night 2 nights before, I like to get my best sleep, and I'm really eating clean, drinking water, and just like having fun. It's all about remembering it's just a sport.
And do you have one goal for this, the rest of the season?
I mean, we have one more race, and it's in Boise. I just want to do my absolute best and enjoy.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Jimena. Let's take a look at the rest of Fresno State athletics and what they're up to this week. The Dogs fly to Colorado tomorrow. Women's soccer faces Air Force. Women's volleyball will be a couple hours north at Colorado State. Both matches will be at 6 o'clock. On Friday, the Fresno State equestrian team will be hosting Texas Christian University. The meet will begin at 10 a.m. And on Saturday morning, swim and dive competes at the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation Conference Championship. Women's volleyball returns home to face Wyoming. And on Sunday, women's soccer hosts Colorado College. The softball team heads north for a doubleheader at St. Mary's, while women's golf heads to Nevada for a tournament that runs through Tuesday. That's your focus on sports. Back to you, Cynthia.
From photography to paintings and even graphic design, art can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. One local installation artist could transform the space you're walking in right now into a unique, interactive work of art, as Marco Rosas shows us.
Installation artists like Allison Walker look to transform the room into something out of a dream.
I just want to make things that are super immersive and really make you feel like you're within the artwork, like you're a part of it.
That's exactly what she did with her installation at Goldstein's Mortuary and Delicatessen in Fresno's Tower District. The exhibit was a 2-month project to commemorate Goldstein's 8th anniversary.
I immediately knew that I wanted to do like the kelp forest and like have it be something that people are like physically walking through, like you feel like you're underwater. So like you walk in, it's the kelp, and then like you keep going and you're like, okay, now I'm in the deep sea, everything is glowing.
The exhibit was a hit along with the other attractions that helped celebrate the 8th anniversary. It was a huge accomplishment for Allie. And she's come a long way from when she first started, making art exhibits in her house with her roommates.
We converted our entire house into these art studio events where she completely converted our house to now seeing a progression into a professional setting where she's working with breweries and other clients like that has been phenomenal.
From transforming living rooms to breathing life into commercial spaces, Allie's dreams are walking in every space she's in.
My goal is to every like 2 to 3 months change the space and make it just super immersive, a new experience. I want you to, each time you come through with a new installation, feel like you've never even been there before.
For Fresno State Focus, I'm Marco Rosas.
You can visit Allison's studio at Art Hop coming up on Thursday, November 2nd to fully immerse yourself in the Dreamwalker experience.
Students, there has been a murder on campus, and they need your help in solving it. Well, not an actual murder, but a mystery you and your friends can solve. Spotlight Events is hosting the Spooky Social at the Resnick Student Union tomorrow. Students will be able to put into groups and will be able to complete in multiple murder cases. It all starts at 6 o'clock at room 207 of the RSU. The first 50 students will receive a spooky snack bag. Are you going to head over to the Spooky Social?
I don't know. I have to admit, Al, I don't really do much on Halloween.
No, I can't blame you. I've never been a Halloween guy myself, but I will tell you this. You mentioned snacks and I'll be there.
I will second you on that. I'm not opposed to stealing some Twixes, Reese's.
I'm a
Those
gummy
are my
bear
favorite.
guy myself. But,
okay, yeah. Next week on Fresno State Focus, we take a look at steps athletes take to stay in shape mentally and physically.
Plus, we go behind the scenes of homecoming week to see what we can expect. Also, how to keep yourself safe but festive this spooky season.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.